take me in the worst case scenario. A breach just happens. What are the first steps the CEO and the C-suite executives need to take?
If they have a policy, they have written instructions on what to do exactly.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't, it's pretty much a toss-up. It is.
That's a great answer.
Because that's the whole point. Your policy, you know, is the way for you to handle the falling dagger. Okay, that's pretty much what it is. Even Massachusetts has done something to help Massachusetts residents. For example, Massachusetts has what is called 201 CMR 17.
Mm-hmm.
That law was one of the first that was created actually, it is the first privacy law that was created in America. I think New York and California followed right away. So what that does is it states clearly, if you have a Massachusetts resident social security number, first name, and last name, you have to protect that information. That means where you keep that information needs to be locked.
Wait, pause. So, like, for example, I was born in Massachusetts. I have a Massachusetts social security number, which I didn't know social securities were made up by state. Now, yes. I live in New Jersey. That's protection. I'm still protected under this law, even though I'm not a Massachusetts resident?
No, if a company hires a Massachusetts resident.
Okay, so got it. Okay. Please continue.
So if you're a company in Massachusetts, you hired a Massachusetts resident, you need to protect that information. If you don't, there are fines. First time, second time. And not only that, to prove that you have that information protected, you need to create what is called a WISP, Written Information Security Plan. The Written Information Security Plan it's a roadmap to say, okay, we had a data breach and 20 Massachusetts residents' information were exposed, right? What do we do? Who picks up the phone call? Who makes the call? How do we deal with their credit reporting information? And how much are we going to pay to address this issue, to address Massachusetts residents' information being because of the data breach? That is the responsibility of the company at this point in time. And there has to be a WISP in place. If there's no WISP in place, that's a problem. And you have to report it to the state that there was a data breach.
How much does that cost companies? Because something like that, like if you, I think, first off, let me start off by saying, I think that policy is a very good idea, right? I'm glad there is some sort of government regulation to make sure that data breaches are less likely to happen. However, government can be very tricky, government can be very expensive, and government can be very inefficient. So how much is that going to cost a company? And if the government is going to mandate this sort of a thing, are there resources that the state of Massachusetts provides to these companies, or some sort of like program to help them pay for this kind of a thing? Because that can't come cheap.
To my knowledge, I don't think there's any program that I'm aware of that helps pay for the program. So of course there are lots of kangaroo programs out there that you can download a template and just sign off on it, and you're good to go for less than, I don't know, $100. Law firms got into this and they're charging arm and leg. So it doesn't cost for a company of about 25 users to write the Massachusetts 201 CMR 17 with the policies. We're talking about close to about 12 to 15 policies that a company needs to have. It may cost you on the southern side of $2,500 to a little bit not to about $5,000, depending on the size of the company. Because what happened is that the policies tend to be a little bit overwhelming for the first time. But what we do is we add summary of each and every single policy that it's easy to digest. But details, the minutiae of the policy tells the IT, whoever is supporting that infrastructure, step by step of what needs to be done. It's all spelled out. And all they have to do is follow those steps and procedures and how to incorporate it into the infrastructure.
So you as a Massachusetts business owner, do you think the policy is helpful, or do you think it's a little too much regulation? Where do you fall on the spectrum?
The policy 201 CMR 17 is a government regulation.
Yep.
That's good. Policy itself, it's about planning. If you don't plan, it's a plan for failure. If you plan, it's a plan for success. So a NIST CSF, NIST National Institute of Standard and Technology, cybersecurity framework, it's a good guide. It's so painful, the federal government has gone way and above to see, look, we're gonna help you out to do things. And the first thing you have to do with the NIST CSF tool, governance. Have a buy-in by the leaders. The next thing, identify what your attack surface is. Identify what you have. How many computers do you have? How many laptops do you have? How many tablets do you have? Phones do you have? How are we going to control those phones? You use what is called MDM, mobile device management. That way you can control them remotely. You can wipe them off. You can lock it. You can find it. You can whistle on the phone when the user decides to do whatever. You can do what they call a geofence and say, okay, if the user is taking it beyond where they're supposed to go, we want to know. Then you can so you've identified what you have, right? Then you can protect it. What are the tools do I need to protect it? How do I need to protect it? How often do I need to protect it? The next thing is you have to detect. Is something going on, right? It's something going on, these things. You have to be able to detect. After detecting, how do I recover from it? Okay, how do I respond to that then? You respond and deal with those issues right away, proactively. Then you can recover, all right? You can recover and be rest assured that everything's okay. Then you go back again to the beginning. Are we doing a good job? Do we need to improve on it? The governance will tell you that. We spend this much money. Is money well spent? Or do we need to add a little bit of 5% or 10% to get to where we want to get to? Because look, cybersecurity breaches is not a fad. Cybersecurity insurance has increased 100-fold, okay, in the last 2 years. So that tells you what? The bad actors are winning.